Good morning, everyone. So welcome to our Sunday program. Hope everybody's doing well and staying warm. So today we'll begin with meditation as we normally do. But I was thinking since today is Valentine's Day, we might do it a little differently. What I'd like to do today is to lead you through a metta meditation. And if you're not familiar with that term, metta means loving kindness. And it's a special meditation to help us develop that loving kindness for ourselves and for others. So we'll go ahead and begin. So wherever you are today, make sure you're comfortable in your seat. Balanced in your seat, sitting upright. Chest open. But you should be calm, relaxed. And we'll go ahead and help ourselves relax, beginning with a deep breath. And as you exhale fully, feel any stress or tension in your body drain away with the breath. Then we'll scan our body to make sure we're not holding on to any stress or tension. Starting at the top of the head, just slowly move your attention downward, willing all your muscles and tendons to soften and relax. So as you go downward, relax the forehead and the eyes. Relax the cheeks and the jaw. Release any tension in your neck and shoulders. Relax the arms all the way down to the fingers. Release any tension in your chest, abdomen, your back. Relax the hips, the thighs, knees.
Here's something I found on the web. According to infobarrel.com,
knees, calves, ankles, and toes.
Wrapped in bacon before being served with potatoes roasted in the chicken juices and a warm fenugreek spiced bean salad. Just so you know, I can help if you ever misplace your phone.
And once you're relaxed, what we do is we'll visualize a moment, a person, a place where we felt completely happy, relaxed, at ease, peaceful. This may be holding a baby or petting a dog, watching a sunrise. Think of that place, that moment. Hold on to that feeling of peace and happiness. And just let it completely envelop you like a warm blanket. And then with metta meditation, we have these ever-expanding circles of loving kindness that we direct first toward ourselves and then outward. So as you concentrate on this warm and peaceful feeling, Direct that loving kindness towards yourself first. And we repeat this mantra, concentrating on the words and all their positive ramifications. So you'll repeat the words, may I be happy. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. Then bring to mind a loved one. It may be a friend or family member. It could even be a beloved pet. But picture that person in your mind. And send them your loving intentions and repeat the phrases, may you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. Then expanding out further, bring to mind an acquaintance. Someone you know, but your feelings for them are neutral. This may be a neighbor, a coworker, a grocery store worker you see only when you are at the grocery store. And as you visualize this person, radiate out your loving kindness and repeat the phrases, may you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. And now, as we continue to expand our metta, our loving kindness for others, we'll bring to mind someone with whom we've had difficulty, some perceived enemy. This could also be a coworker, a neighbor, or a family member. Sometimes this step is difficult. We have to bear in mind that often people who are the most difficult to deal with are the most unhappy, and they need our loving kindness the most. So as you picture this person, repeat the phrases, may you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. And lastly, we'll expand our limitless loving kindness out to all living beings. You might picture a warm light expanding outward from within you to your neighborhood, your city, your state, the nation, and then the whole earth, bathed in the light of love. And then repeat the phrases, may you be happy, may you be well, may you be safe, may you be peaceful and at ease. And with our remaining time, just meditate silently, and you can repeat any of these steps as often as you want, generating loving kindness within yourself, toward yourself, and then outward toward all beings. Thank you. And before you stand up or move around, make sure you give your body a chance to adjust. And also peaceful, calm feelings you develop through this meditation. Try to carry that with you as long as you can throughout the day. So we have Venerable Cintita with us today. And before I turn it over to the Venerable, I'll just reintroduce him. So before entering monastic life, Bhikkhu Cintita, who earned a PhD in linguistics and a master's in computer science, was a professor of computer science at Southern Illinois University, worked in the corporate world doing research and development in artificial intelligence, which brought him to Austin, Texas. In 2001, Bhikkhu Cintita retired from his career to devote himself to practice and later teaching, which he has done ever since. He spent 5 years at the Tassajara Zen Monastery in California, which is in the Japanese tradition of Suzuki Roshi, founder of the San Francisco Zen Center. Returning to Austin, he ordained as a Zen priest in 2003 at the Austin Zen Center, which he had helped 2 years ago. He lived, trained, and taught in the Austin Zen Center for 6 years before deciding to ordain as a Theravada Buddhist monk. He currently resides at the Siddhagu Buddhist Vihara in Austin. Venerable Cintita.
Okay, well, here we are again. I'm sitting in my cabin rather than in the library this month. It's 29 degrees outside and I cannot get it warm enough in the library. It's supposed to get down to 3 degrees tonight here in Austin. Okay, last week I talked about the 5 aggregates, which for the Buddha was a hugely important topic. He probably gave about 200 talks, discourses on the aggregates. Again, the 5 aggregates are appearance or form, feeling, perception, formations, and cognizance or consciousness. In brief, the aggregates as a whole represent the world as we experience it, not reality out there, but our world of experience, which in terms of our practice and in terms of the fruits of our practice is the world that really counts. In his very first Dhamma talk, the Buddha said the following: birth is painful, old age is painful, illness is painful, death is painful, sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress are painful. Association with the disliked is painful. Separation from the liked is painful. Not getting what you wish for is painful. In brief, the 5 aggregates of appropriation are painful. You'll hear the expression aggregates of appropriation or aggregates of attachment at least as often as just plain aggregates. We attach to or appropriate certain things within our world of experience. Our bodies, our bank accounts, our car, our bowling championship. Appropriation or attachment is identifying with something, making it into me or mine, something integral to who we think we are. It's also a link, appropriation, in the chain of the 12-fold chain of dependent co-arising. Buddhism teaches that whatever we appropriate causes us a lot of problems, a lot of sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress. The aggregates of appropriation are the range of things we appropriate in our world of experience, our personal footprint. The primary function of the aggregates for practice is to help us let go of me and mine to develop a smaller personal footprint and thereby to suffer less. So to review from last week, here's what the 5 aggregates are, each in turn. Each is a way of experiencing the world. The first aggregate is an appearance or a form, is awareness of a sight, sound, smell, taste, etc., mediated by one of the senses. Awareness here means it shows up in our experience. An appearance is bare awareness. A feeling, number 2, is awareness or showing up of the goodness of something, whether it's pleasing or displeasing. Number 3, a perception is awareness of a feature of an object, such as human, table, Fred, rain, and so on. Something recognized as familiar and generally given a name. A formation is awareness of something through inference or compounding of parts. Your car is a formation of parts, your family a formation of relations. Inferring fire from smoke is a formation. A plan of action is also a formation. Finally, number 5, cognizance or consciousness is the comprehensive awareness of things as substantial, existing, reliable, often living and breathing, the entering into experience of fully fleshed out things out there in the world. You'll notice that each aggregate is a form of awareness. We cannot experience what we're not aware of, and we cannot attach to what we cannot experience. Awareness itself is a cognitive event, something that the mind does. But awareness always has an object. Given all the aggregates, we are aware of an entire world of experience. Some things in that world are appropriated and some are not. It turns out that the things we appropriate are almost always something we experience as existing out there in objective reality, something that we think is relatively substantial, fixed, permanent, reliable, and usually pleasant, in contrast to the turmoil within our heads. Even our self is an active agent we experience as out there. When we look at the Buddha's teaching about mind or about wisdom, we discover a method of 3 parts. This is the Buddha's method when he talks about psychologically oriented subjects: conditionality, subjectivity, and insubstantiality. These are ways of framing the domain of discussion, and the Buddha is very consistent in maintaining this method. It's important for the student of Buddhism to understand what the Buddha is up to here. Conditionality is the core principle behind dependent co-arising, but it's not so important in today's discussion. Subjectivity is the perspective of what is it I'm experiencing as opposed to what is really true or really exists in reality. Subjectivity is an imperative of practice, since our well-being and our practice only makes sense subjectively. Finally, insubstantiality is not to presume that the things of reality out there are substantial, fixed, permanent, reliable, and pleasant as we think. Insubstantiality is why we talk so much about impermanence, suffering and non-self, and about emptiness and groundlessness in Buddhism. The aggregates give us a way of framing the world of experience in terms of subjectivity and insubstantiality. as well as conditionality. The problem that the aggregates address is that we so easily presume a substantial reality out there and add that presumption to our world of experience. We usually don't even notice that we're presuming anything or that any cognition is involved in experiencing reality at all. We just show up and there are chairs, cars, dogs, my diploma, all substantial, fixed, permanent, reliable, and usually pleasant. However, if we're instead mindful that our experiential world is entirely constructed of aggregates, cognitive awareness events that fit together like a jigsaw puzzle to produce the world, including what we presume to be out there, then substantial things are not so immediate. Decomposing our experiences into 5 modes of awareness, moreover, makes us even more aware of the cognitive constructedness of the world. If we don't see substantial objects, we don't appropriate, and if we don't appropriate, we don't suffer. About this, the Buddha says, suppose bhikkhus, an artist or a painter using dye or lac or turmeric or indigo or crimson would create the figure of a man or a woman complete in all of its features on a well-polished plank or wall or canvas. So too, when the uninstructed worldling produces anything, it is only appearance that he produces, only feeling that he produces, only perception that he produces, only formations that he produces, only cognizance that he produces. The 5 colors used here are the 5 aggregates: appearance, feeling, perceptions, formations, and cognizance. Each brush stroke might be considered an awareness event, growing a world of aggregates. For instance, I'm attached to my chariot, which to me is real, substantial, reliable, and mine. I'm not really me without my chariot. However, it consists of 5 aggregates. Which ones are real, substantial, reliable, and mine? If it's the shine of the chrome trimmings, my appropriation centers on appearance and maybe on feeling. If it's the quality of the wooden parts, the length of the yoke, or the diameter of the wheels, then it centers on perception. If it's on the many uses I find in my for my chariot and the prestige I gain by appearing on the byways and crossroads in it, then on formations. If it's on the chariot as a whole, including its very substantiality, then my appropriation of it relies on cognizance, which is what really takes it to be substantial, fixed, and existence. By breaking my chariot up into the 5 ways I experience it, I begin to see it as shoddy merchandise with the cognitive seams left over from the fabrication of my most cherished attachments. Because the aggregates really represent levels of cognitive unfolding of our experienced world, a cognitive overlaying of different facets of reality, we might notice in our practice at which point in this progressive unfolding, craving or appropriation appear. There are different ways to break the world up into different modes of awareness. Another one is utilized by the Buddha, is in terms of the senses. eye, ear, nose, and so on, responsible for the respective awareness event. But the aggregates have a special quality. They're adapted to meditation practice. As far as I know, the only Buddhist teacher who has noticed this is Thanissaro Bhikkhu, Ajahn Jeff. The aggregates in their normal sequence represent ascending levels of cognitive complexity. Therefore, as the mind stills in samadhi, the experienced world begins progressively to retreat from the more cognitively complex modes of awareness. So as we sit down to meditate and slowly settle into samadhi, maybe enter the first jhana, the second jhana, the mind retreats from cognizance. Cognizance just isn't fully functional. Then it retreats from formations. Then it retreats from perception, then from feeling, and finally leaving the bare awareness of appearance. If we go deep enough into meditation, even that disappears. In general, samadhi represents a challenge to substantiality because it radically shifts our experience of the world wherever it arises, including what we presume to be out there in reality, and reveals its mental constructedness. You can try this with your car, your body, your Oscar, or any other object of attachment you might have. Actually, what you want to do is to begin by entering into the deepest state you can to achieve bare awareness, loosely focused on the object of attachment. Then observe the associated appearances. Feelings will begin to arise and occasionally such as a wheel or a hand. Then you can open up to relational considerations, your relation to an object or the composition of the object. What's happening is that you have to progressively retreat from the deeper states of samadhi in order to take in more complex conceptual content. As your samadhi dissipates, the object of your attachment that you're using as a meditation object will likely morph back with the arriving of cognizance into its substantial, fixed, existing, reliable status as a thing out there in reality. As you do this, you can ask yourself, at what point in this process does the object become you or yours? I'm convinced that the Buddha's primary intent for giving us this particular set of modes of awareness that he calls the aggregates has to do with bringing the aggregates onto the cushion in just this way. The problem for us, and the reason we have Buddhism at all, is that our natural inclination is to crave and appropriate things that we experience specifically as substantial, fixed, reliable, existing out there. Few of us recognize the danger of this. We think it's good to crave and then appropriate things, to have a big personal footprint. Our youth, our health, our beauty, our fancy clothes, our house, our car, our family, our network of friends, our investment portfolio, our charm and fame. Apparently, the Buddha to be once thought like this also, for he subsequently tells us So long as I did not directly know the gratification, the danger, and the escape in the case of the 5 aggregates of appropriation, I did not claim to have awakened. Much of our practice helps us escape the danger of appropriation. For instance, as we practice ethically, practice generosity and harmlessness, or develop kindness and compassion, we tend to become less self-centered and less concerned with growing or maintaining our personal footprint. And as a result, we experience greater well-being. We monastics intentionally reduce our personal footprint. We just don't own things to speak of. We don't even own people like spouses or dependent children. We can still attach mentally to what we've given up for a while, but we get used to it and let go of things even mentally. Many lay people follow suit, adopt perhaps a practice of voluntary simplicity in their lives, and they end up happier for us, just as the Buddha tells us will happen. So the Buddha tells us that it's imperative that we thoroughly understand the aggregates of appropriation. In particular, if we understand their gratification and their danger, we let go by becoming dispassionate. And this is the escape. Accordingly, he gives us contemplative practice centered around the aggregates. And I suspect that these were actually guided meditations because they're repeated quite commonly, almost in exactly the, sometimes in almost exactly the same words with slight variations. As we contemplate an object of appropriation through the filter of the aggregates, we can consider for directly for each aggregate. This appearance is impermanent. This appearance is suffering. This appearance is non-self. And so on for feeling, perception, formations, and cognizance. Or we can focus on the non-self part and say, this appearance is not me. This appearance is not mine. And so on for feeling, perceptions, formations, and consciousness. Again, this is all counterintuitive for the uninstructed worldling who stops at gratification and sees no further than becoming ever more gratified by attaching to things. The uninstructed worldling never realizes the danger or attempts the escape from the aggregates of attachment. Let's see, I have an example of the uninstructed worldling's practice of what you're not supposed to do. However, I need to be able to share my screen. So Mitch, can you give me screen sharing permission? Do you know how to do that?
Okay, all right, you should be able to share now.
Okay, let's see, share screen. Yes. Let's see, share computer sound. There's a couple things you have to choose here. Okay, so this is a 2-minute video clip from a movie made in the 60s about an evil governess who introduces a decidedly unwholesome contemplative practice to the children in her care, one that aims to encourage rather than avoid craving and appropriation. This is how not to practice letting go.
Towards me, I just try to think of nice things. Like private things. Well, let's see, nice things. Daffodils. Green meadows. Skies full of stars. Raindrops on roses. And whiskers on pickles. Brown pepper kettles and warm woolen nickels. Brown pepper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and sweet solid noodles. Where is the cloud with a moon at these wings? These are a few of my favorite things. Dolls in my dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes and starlit night roses and real faces, silver baked winters and magical springs. These are a few of my favorite things. My Stevie and sad. I don't feel Does your brother well? Of course he does. Of course he does. Let's do it loud.
So notice how the Buddha enters right at the end and puts a stop to all of that conceptual proliferation. Okay, so that's, I'm right on time, I think, with my talk.
All right. Well, I guess I will we can go ahead and wrap up for today then.
Okay.
You guys try to stay warm out there. It's going to get crazy.
What's it like in Houston? Is it cold?
Yeah, they're forecasting like low teens or even single digits tomorrow.
Oh, wow. That's low for Houston.
Oh, yeah.
So
No.
it's beginning to feel like we're in the Alps here in the middle of Texas. And
So before I wrap up, I did forget to make announcements at the beginning. So I wanted to mention that today, the Jade Buddha Temple, they are doing a drive-through celebration for the Lunar New Year. They're offering the traditional red envelopes and a prepackaged meal. If you live close to the temple, you might want to swing by and take advantage of that. I also wanted to remind you that Jostin's Mindfulness for Urban Living class is coming up. So every Sunday in March, I believe they're meeting right before our service, starting at 9. Is that right, Jostin?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. So if you see our newsletter, there's a link to the registration page for Jostin's class.
And by the way, I clicked on that registration link. It doesn't really work well. I'll send you the link again to see if that would be better.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. If you send us a new link, we'll update the newsletter. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and end with 3 bows to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And one bow to our teacher today, Venerable Cintita. Thank you. You guys have a good day, a good week. Stay warm.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody.